too long. It has been estimated that over 1,700 of us Caymanians have some degree of mental challenges. Through improved management of local health service costs and partnering with world-class international healthcare organizations that have economies of scale, and finally by adopting healthier lifestyles, Cayman can reduce the costs of healthcare and insurance, provide better care to our people, and create a better future for Cayman. This is part of the progressive plan for a healthy Cayman. So, on May the 22nd, when you go to vote, remember you have a choice. And I would like to take this opportunity, and I'm obligated to say I would like to say a special thanks to all the dedicated doctors, nurses, management, and staff of the health services who continue to work long hours under sometimes very trying conditions. They continue to give of themselves while making great sacrifices. Once again, I encourage you to vote for the Progressives on May the 22nd. It is the healthy thing to do for our future, and may God bless us all.
Imagine if he had two good wings. My mentor, a man I admire greatly, a man of integrity and caring in the district of Town and in these islands, Mr. Tony Eden. What a team, ladies and gentlemen, what a team! You've heard from all of us. We have to change this government, and the Progressives are the answer. I can feel it, guys. You remember in 2005 when we walked from the Lighthouse School down to Contra, when we walked down Freedom Street? You all remember that? We're going to do it again, but this time we're going to walk from the Formula Life Center. I don't know where we're going up. I'll be walking. And we won't be lost. I want to say to my Town people that good representation is on the way back, because you have been neglected since 2009. They talk about the best representation in 35 years. I do not know where that idle boast comes from. BT, your pride will be restored. We will stimulate the Town economy. We will make sure that we go east once more and we take care of those three eastern districts and we put our people back to work. We will do what's right, and we will be there for honest, caring representation. We won't cut off our phones. We will answer your messages. We will be there. But I have to cut short because this man is a man that you must hear from, and everybody on TV and radio land must hear from this man tonight. And he's a man that really needs no introduction, but I can't leave him just like that. He's a man for all seasons. He is a man who has led with integrity, with commitment, with deep care and love and compassion for his people. He has given himself to his country for 30 plus years, 20 plus in the Legislative Assembly of these islands. He is the previous leader of the PPM. He is Mr. Kurt Tibbetts. He is like a rock. Let's hear it for Kurt Tibbetts.
Stood there boldly, sweating in the sun. Felt like a million, felt like number one. The height of summer, I'd never felt that strong, like a rock. Stood there boldly, sweating in the sun. Felt like a million, felt like number one. The the height of summer. I'd never felt that strong, like a rock.
Hello, people! Watch me now, watch me now, watch me now. Easy, easy, easy. Watch me quickly. First of all, before I do as my leader wishes for me to do, let me say a very good evening to all of you on the television, to all of you in Radio Land, Grand Cayman, and Little Cayman. I hear you, my son, I hear you. Ladies and gentlemen, before we do anything else, you've been listening for a little while, free up yourself and make some noise, yay! You see, when we used to ask what time it is, we used to hear it's PPM time. But now, it's very similar. But when I ask you what time it is now, I want to hear it's progressive time. What time is it? Ladies and gentlemen, tonight is the unveiling of the manifesto. Before you leave, make sure you get your copies, and we will be distributing copies as fast as we can in the next days and weeks before the elections. I am reminded by Rodney about the rain. I just want you all to fully appreciate there is but one God. And what you need to understand, and make sure that you understand clearly, He was just making us know tonight that He can do what He wishes to do, and we must accept it. He was testing your fortitude to see if you would run. But we love you so much, and you love us, so you stayed. Ladies and gentlemen, back to a little bit of business, very seriously. The manifesto has been complete. You have heard the leader tell you how it has been constructed and how it is made up. You've heard Marco, you've heard Joey, you've heard Wayne, you've heard Alva, you've heard Dalkeith, you've heard the MC Osborne, you've heard Woody DaCosta, and you've heard Miss Lucille. I hope I ain't forgetting anybody. And you heard, I know. And you heard Moses K. Persis MLA. If you, Kenneth? Forgot you? If I forgot Kenneth, that's because I had to put him in the corner this evening. But he's out of punishment now. You see, he got this way about him, you know, full speed ahead all the time. But I was 32 once, and I was full speed ahead all the time then too. But I get him to listen 98% of the time, and that's doing pretty good. Ladies and gentlemen, the manifesto tells you the story. It tells you what obtains here in the Cayman Islands today, and it tells you what we want for you to give us the opportunity to do to fix what's all wrong here in the Cayman Islands today. It comes down to one single issue. The government of the day is tax, tax, tax on your backs, backs, backs. And it is killing us. It is killing us. Listen to me. They, that is the government, they convinced enough of you all last time that we were so wrong with their propaganda, and they were elected. But we understand and we accepted that because that's the way life is. Now theirs was propaganda, because 4 years later they still haven't been able to prove what they convinced you that was so. And you don't hear them talking about it anymore. But listen up. We don't have to tell you any propaganda, and we won't do that. They have proven to you over the last 4 years they don't deserve the job. You cannot, and I cannot say this too often, you cannot tax a country out of a recession. You cannot tax this country out of a recession. And you check it out. You heard the speakers before telling you about it. And they are going to say, well, what are they going to do? Ladies and gentlemen, we recognize that these times are times when we have to get more for less. We understand that. But we also understand that if we leave the level of taxation that prevails now on you, the people of this country, we will never rise up again. Never. When you hear, I ain't joking, I'm serious. When you hear a young mother with 2 kids working her job, crying because she know tomorrow her electricity gonna be cut off, crying because the landlord is down on her because part of the rent wasn't paid, crying because the water is not far behind, and crying because she has to seek a ride, although she has a small vehicle because she can't buy gas. But she's working. She got 2 kids. Now one could go into all kinds of history and say, well, where's the father of the 2 kids? I know that. I know we could do all of that. Those are some of the challenges we face. But that doesn't change the reality. Remember, she's working. Imagine those that aren't working. And I can tell you tonight, ladies and gentlemen, there are not hundreds of those here in this country tonight. There are thousands of them. There are thousands of them. And we cannot stand by and leave that alone and allow another government to tax us out of existence. I speak to this specific issue, ladies and gentlemen, because let me tell you, if we choose to say we don't want to hear about it because it's not us, we can do that. But people like me don't have that luxury. I never did because I don't want to. But when you know that you don't have the wherewithal to take care of those problems personally because you just don't have it, you feel like just going in a corner and crying because you feel just as bad as those people and you don't have the immediate answers for them. But you see, we get into these immediate problems, folks. and we can look to solve those immediate problems. Most times it takes a longer look to get the solution to be a sustainable one. And that's, if you read our manifesto, or when you read it, because I'm sure you will, that's what we're all about. We have to look measures in the short term, and measures in the medium term, and measures in the long term. You heard from us earlier, education is the real long-term answer. But ladies and gentlemen, when you look at all of the issues that face us, I want you to remember one thing. Whenever you see or hear anything from the UDP, every single problem that we face today may not have begun with it, but has been multiplied times over because they have taxed on your backs. Oh, you want me to say it right? All they know how to do is tax on your backs. But I don't feel like doing that because that is such a serious matter. And Marco, let me go to the candidates. I know you listen carefully to Marco. And I know that Marco didn't jump up and down like how some of us can. He's just not built like that. But I want you to answer me tonight. Did you understand what he was saying? Do you agree with what he's saying? Do you think he's smart? And he is but one of 15. You heard from Mr. Jobs. That's Joey. Joey is Mr. Jobs. You heard him. I can't help it if he's not in it all. I can't do anything about that. But it does not stop him from making the impact that he should make. And not one of those other candidates from any one of the other teams have come forward looking at any solutions in the innovative way that you've heard from Mr. Jobs. So, you heard Woody tell you about education, and you heard Woody explain, and with gusto and fire. I have a feeling Woody and crew gonna surprise some of them in West Bay. What do you think? I want to come back to Borden Town. Anthony Eden is a dear friend of mine. We have been friends long before politics. I can't remember from earlier times seeing a more caring and committed individual long before he became a representative. I want you to give him a big round of applause because nothing has changed except some of the hair is gone. Some of mine too. We have Osborne. Mr. Fire, Mr. Fire, Mr. Fire. Osborne lost by 38 votes in 2009. And if all of us had realized it, he would have took 38 steps more and he would have got elected. But I'm telling you tonight, folks, however you're listening, here or there, I want you to seriously consider when you think about who you're going to vote for. There are at least 30 to 35% of our voters tonight who have not made up their minds. That's what I believe. And I want you to seriously consider when you go to vote. Remember now, this is not just about the one person. This is about the unit. If you make to just give you a good comparison, if you look at the game of sports, you could look at any team sports. Let's use the UK, for instance. And you look to see who has won the Barclays Premier League for the 13th time in 20 years, and that's Manchester United. If you look at all of the other teams, you can look and say, this individual is better than somebody on Manchester United team. This other one from that team is better than the next one. But they're all playing with other teams.